Cast your minds back 2 or 3 years. Do any of you recall the Justice for Chelsey campaign based in Sunderland? Do you remember all the demos and the donation drives? Do you remember all the social media posts and videos? Have you ever wondered why Tommy and others have stopped talking about this campaign? The Chelsey Right campaign was due to claims that this woman was drugged and abused by refugees whilst the police and prosecution services were not doing anything. Tommy Robinson, Paul Golding, Jada Franson and others jump on this campaign. But do any of you wonder where the campaign went? Did it succeed? Where did it go? Why all the PayPal patriots have gone silent on it? Their silence is always deafening when it comes to these things. But we do seem like we've got some sort of update. It looks like Caolan Robertson, a former aide to Mr. Robinson, has the information on it. According to him, Mr. Robinson found out a month after his involvement that it was essentially a pack of lies, and he basically went cold on it himself. Caolan Robertson is asked about the Chelsey Right campaign. He states, Tommy found out a month later the story was completely fabricated. No grooming, no abuse happened. It's common knowledge now in Sunderland that it was fake. Despite the fact that PayPal patriots have gone silent on this, there's somebody out there that still has a web page asking for donations for this campaign. Can you guess who this person may be? Somebody who's eager, always eager to ask for donations. He's never shy in coming forward asking for your money. His name is Ezra Levant of Rebel Media. Rebel Media are still asking for donations for it. Suggested donations include £1,000 and £500. Think about that. Levant still got his donation page up with the conspiracy theory appended to it that the police and the prosecution are refusing to do something about this because the alleged perpetrators are refugees from Syria and Iraq. He's also claiming this money is required to pay his solicitor, his lawyer, who, according to him, is offering his services at a generously reduced price. So there you have it. That's Levant and Rebel Media still asking for money on behalf of the Justice for Chelsey campaign, despite Caolan Robertson claiming that Robinson knew this was a fake story essentially a month into it. Another thing that I really don't understand about these individuals, if you genuinely believe there's a victim out there that is not getting any justice and the prosecution and police services are conspiring against them, why would you waste all that time to gather donations? You've clearly got the funds and the resources to bring in force a legal team to take the necessary action. Why should there be a drawn out donation process over the course of, in this case, years? Why should that be the case? And then all of a sudden, and eventually it peters off, or it peters off quickly. The trail goes quiet. People stop asking questions. Where does the money go? Where has that money gone? Can somebody find out? There's always a pattern with these things as well. Initially there's a load of enthusiasm, and then there's silence without any explanation to the followers, despite many of the followers being duped into believing the first iteration of the conspiracy or story, which is always perpetuated by these PayPal grifters before they move on to something else or go quiet. After that initial burst, it's always silence. It's just complete silence. The silence is deafening, and it's quite telling. We've seen it all before. Do you remember the Justice for Our Boys campaign in Hayes? Robinson and other PayPal grifters jump onto that one as well. They walked away or went silent on it as soon as they found out they couldn't really use that for their propaganda purposes. Concerning the Hayes case, the Justice for Our Boys case, Robinson walked away and went silent on it as soon as he found out it was not a terror attack, but rather it was simply a speeding drink driver who has a Hindu name. But nobody told you that, right? This is the problem. There was that initial enthusiasm in perpetuating and spreading this conspiracy theory. After that, complete silence. It's utterly irresponsible. It's utterly irresponsible to throw out these conspiracy theories, which you later find out are completely untrue. Then you go silent without any public statement rejecting or disavowing them. This seems to be the case with regards to the Chelsey Right campaign. There's another campaign. Do you recall the story in Bognor? I believe there was a takeaway where apparently there were pills in a kebab, and folks were accusing the takeaway workers of trying to drug up females and groom them that way. Turns out that was just basically an innocent mistake. The drugs in the kebabs were just prescribed medication of one of the workers at one of the establishments, or the establishment that was in question. But again, ask yourself, why did everybody go silent on it? The PayPal patriots went silent on it. That's probably because they found out it had no legs for their propaganda purpose. There's an interesting development taking place, an interesting story up in Barrow. The same could be the case for the Justice for Ellie campaign in Barrow. Do you remember a number of PayPal patriots and groups and characters got involved, believing the claims of a young lady in Barrow called Ellie Williams? Robinson was one of these people who was suggesting that there is a cover-up and there's grooming gangs operating in Barrow. Well, Dram Politics was one of the first ones to pick up on a throwaway comment by Mr. Robinson, which indicates he does not believe the story the claims of Ellie Williams anymore. So he does not believe the grooming stories. But again, he's gone silent on it. He has not informed his fans that he doubts the story. He has not told them to investigate it further, or at least give it pause, and rather than just continually believing and spreading that particular conspiracy theory. And the problem with many of these folks who believe conspiracy theories that are spouted by PayPal patriots, their problem is, one of their problems is the fact that they are overly emotional and underinformed. They don't read, they don't go away and research,